Good morning. I am Tulare County District Attorney Tim Ward. Today, members of the law enforcement communities of Tulare County, Kern County, and Santa Barbara County, along with the respective district attorney's offices, stand united under the principle that no victim of crime shall be forgotten and justice shall not be delayed. It is worthy to note that this week honors the anniversary of National Crime Victims' Rights Week. And I am pleased to make a major announcement that reflects great credit upon the men and women, not only of our local law enforcement agency, but the agencies represented here and those around Central California. Today, the Tulare County District Attorney's Office, in conjunction with the District Attorney's Offices of Kern County, with District Attorney Lisa Green and District Attorney Jan Dudley from Santa Barbara, have filed 9 counts of murder and 1 count of attempted murder against Jose Manuel Martinez. All of the charges have been filed in Tulare County with the cooperation and approval of the involved counties. In addition to the 9 counts of murder and 1 count of attempted murder, defendant Jose Martinez is charged with special circumstance allegations that include multiple murders, lying in wait, kidnapping, and murder for financial gain. These allegations make the defendant potentially eligible for the death penalty. As the diagram indicates, 6 of the crime victims were killed in Tulare County, 2 of the victims in Kern, and 1 in Santa Barbara. It is this 1982 incident in Santa Barbara in which he is also charged with the 1 count of attempted murder. As charged, these murders span a period of over 30 years, beginning in Tulare County in 1980 and extend to 2011. The victims of these crimes ranged from 22 years of age to 56 years of age. At this point, the Tulare County District Attorney's Office has been, and we will continue to be, in contact with the families of these victims. We're using the resources not only of our office, but the law enforcement communities and the district attorney's offices that are involved as well. This has, and it will continue to be, a collaborative effort, not only the offices represented here today, but agencies throughout this state and across the nation. This case will continue to be investigated, and as you are undoubtedly aware, the same defendant is facing charges in at least 1 other state at this point. Currently, he is in custody in the state of Alabama. At this point, I would like to introduce Tulare County Sheriff Mike Boudreau, who will highlight some of the general details as to how this investigation progressed to this point. Sheriff Boudreau.
Well, thank you and good morning. First off, I hope that you can understand I will not be able to share many of the specifics regarding the criminal investigation, and I will be very limited in my responses. The district attorney has briefed you on the cases that he has filed here in Tulare County, but please understand this is an ongoing investigation. We do not want to disclose any information that could compromise the current cases or any future cases that we're working on. I did want to take the opportunity to acknowledge the hard work of all those involved that resulted in at least 9 homicides being solved. We hope that by solving these crimes, there can be closure for families who in many cases have been waiting years for answers. I specifically want to recognize Sergeant Crystal Darrington. Without her dedication and hard work, these 9 homicides may very well have not been solved. In late 2012 and into the beginning of 2013, we at the Sheriff's Department experienced a series of home invasions around the south end of Tulare County. While investigating the home invasions, we contacted Jose Manuel Martinez during a probation search in the Early Mart area. Although not a suspect in the home invasions, Martinez was at the residence during the search and was contacted by officers at the scene. He was questioned by Detective Darrington during that contact on unrelated charges. In June of 2013, Jose Manuel Martinez was arrested by authorities in Alabama on a homicide charge. We were subsequently contacted by those authorities regarding his arrest and potential information related to homicides that had occurred in and or around Tulare County. I was immediately and continually briefed on information related to this investigation and I routinely met with detectives and staff for updates. In part due to Detective Tarrington's prior contact with Martinez, I chose to fly her back to Alabama and conduct interviews with involved persons. In all, she and staff have made the trip to Alabama on 3 different occasions. As a result of Detective Darrington's initial investigation and interviews, we began working on new leads generated after Martinez's arrest. The investigation involved dozens of investigators from several agencies, as you see behind me, and to this point has utilized hundreds of man-hours. As these cases spread across 3 different counties, it took a cooperative effort from all involved to bring these cases to a point that the district attorney staff felt comfortable in filing the cases. This case illustrates what can be done when law enforcement agencies work together in a spirit of cooperation and sharing. In closing, I want to say again that while this case has been filed, there is plenty of work yet to be done. Investigators will continue working on this case through to the conviction. Again, please understand that I will not be able to share much information regarding the specifics of the investigation, but I will be happy to try and answer general questions that you may have. At this time, I would like to turn it back over to our District Attorney, Tim Ward.
I've been asked many times what the next step is. At this point, the Tulare County District Attorney's Office will file and execute the warrant. Law enforcement, as you hear, will continue to investigate the case. Our Bureau of Investigations, along with our victim advocates and those in the adjoining counties, will work to coordinate with the victims' families to keep them informed of the process here on out. There are many variables that we are not necessarily in control of that will dictate what happens next. We will do as much as we possibly can to keep members of the public apprised of what transpires next. At this point, we'll open it up to a few brief questions, but I do believe that the staff will remain to try to answer as many questions as we possibly can. So.
Why are all the cases being filed in Tulare County? Are they all related somehow?
Well, certainly they would be related by, we believe they're committed by the same individual. From a logistical standpoint, and you can even see from a location standpoint, most of the offenses occur within a close geographic region to Tulare County. The defendant did have ties and at one time resided inside Tulare County. But another reason is from a logistical standpoint, there's going to be a lot of transportation of witnesses, a lot of cross-admissibility of evidence, and therefore, with the best interest of keeping those victims in mind and bringing justice to this defendant, Ms. Green, myself, we felt that Tulare County would be the appropriate venue to go forward on.
I guess, obviously people first got wind of him after he was arrested last year, so can you tell us why the investigation took so long? Like, what made it such a lengthy investigation?
Well, maybe, Sheriff, would you?
Sure. Well, as you can see, this investigation is going to be extremely detailed. These are numerous investigations. Each one requires that as much energy go into each individual crime scene as to detectives and personnel. A homicide case in and of itself is time-consuming, but with these cases there are multiple, some of which we've investigated in the past and we had to follow up with witnesses and we had to follow up with other information to corroborate much of what we were learning. And so although it is very, very time-consuming, it is still ongoing. So to answer your question why it took so long, we have to make sure that we are doing everything correctly and that all evidence is collected to support what the district attorney wants to do with this case. It's very time-consuming.
Related to medical marijuana or any of the cases related to medical marijuana?
I can't go into any of the specifics of the case.
Could you elaborate on the term contract killer?
I
Sure.
will.
Yeah, as stated and in the charging document, there are a number of the murder allegations that have an attached special allegation. That special allegation alleges that the crime was committed for financial gain. And I believe, although it's in the press packets, I believe there are 5 of the pending cases have that allegation charged as well.
Contract for whom?
At this point, I'm going to take a book out of the sheriff's playbook there. It's probably not appropriate that we discuss the details of that because that could very easily go into future contacts and interviews that all the law enforcement agencies are going to be conducting at this point.
Even though it's known that he may have been working for a Mexican cartel?
Yeah, I'm aware, as you are, of the extensive media coverage that the case has generated in other states. It's not appropriate for us to comment on, allegations brought forward from other states. Right now, we're focused on fulfilling the victims' rights and their families to bring justice to them, but we got to do it in a professional and ethical manner, and it's just not appropriate that we go too far into the details other than what we can provide today.
Are you guys able to kind of do a listing of the victims and when or where they were? I mean, just basically what's on the map.
Sure. Yes, I believe we have that in your press packet. So.
Did you say when he's going to be brought, or if he's going to be brought to Tulare County? Will he be arraigned on these charges?
Exactly. That's going to be one of the areas that, while law enforcement's continuing with their aspect of the investigation, our office and our Bureau of Investigations will be looking into the details of extradition. Obviously, we'll be working with the out-of-state agencies to determine what the next step is. At this point, there are too many variables to predict when that could possibly occur. Any other questions?
Does Florida have first dibs on him after Alabama?
We're checking on that right now, Lou. I don't believe that Florida, last time we checked, I do not believe that the state of Florida has executed and filed their warrants yet. That's certainly something that we're going to be looking into. So.
Where did the defendant live in Tulare County?
I believe there was an indication of the Rich Grove area.
Sheriff, you mentioned that you had investigators flying over to Alabama. Was this after his publicized confession of, more than a couple dozen killings? And did he mention some specific places in California in that confession that brought you guys over there?
We were contacted by authorities there, and then we flew out prior to it becoming a large-scale media event. We had information prior to.
So it could maybe be years before he's brought here in Tulare County, possibly?
It's difficult for me to say. I would hope not. I'd like to have him come back and justice be served for the citizens of our county as well as the state of California. We'd like to see him brought back to justice and go through the court system here as quickly as possible, but it's very difficult to say.
Are there any other crimes that you're looking into that he could be a suspect in, or is this kind of the end of his involvement here?
This is an ongoing investigation, and we have other cases we're looking at. Okay.
I want to take one final moment and thank the members of the Kern County District Attorney's Office, the Kern County Sheriff's, and Santa Barbara Sheriff's Department for coming out. I appreciate them not only being here today and being available for you, but the cooperation that they've shown our office throughout this investigation and the process of filing charges. So also to you, thank you for coming out today, and I believe that we will remain to answer as many questions as you can. But thank you very much.